Many a brave soul has set foot in this wood, only to be swallowed up, and they also tell of a certain tool one needs to get through this place. A message is written on the sign. Seek out the four stela hidden deep in these woods. Nice work. You did great. about the enemy. You have found the southern Stela. You smack around off to the west. You'd best head that way next. fight. You have found the Eastern Stela. You see the words Melody of Fortune chiseled into the corner. About the enemy. That was lucky. Don't hold back. The man sighs, realizing he may never be able to escape with his current tool set. You hear a beautiful melody flowing from the forest depths. It sounds like singing, or perhaps bird song. As if drawn in by the voice, you head deeper into the forest, where you find a woman playing a stringed instrument. Why won't the right words come to me? Hearing her sigh, you offer to help her with her song. Very well then. Please finish this verse, she responds, then begins to sing. Add a fiery shout to overcome the cold. Taking your words as ridicule, the woman's eyes suddenly grow dark. How dare you insult my song? You will pay for this atrocity in blood, she exclaims, then attacks. How pitiful I am, brought to my knees in these woods, defeated by savage adventurers. What an epic song that would be. Seemingly satisfied, the woman succumbs to slumber. You decide to part ways from this woman, hopefully never to meet again. You have found the Northern Stela. It doesn't look particularly special. You resolve to touch it anyhow. I need to hit the Stela every single time I want to go home. What a pain, the frowning woman sighs. The next Stela is, you hear someone murmuring. It sounds like a man, but you can't really be sure in these woods. have found the Western Stela, which you swear up and down was not he. You have found all 4 of the Stela in the Bewildering Wood. On a perhaps related note, you hear a sound emanating from the east. The woman appears to be lost. How do I get out of here? She asks with furrowed brows. You examine the Stela. The message carved into the... You hold the woodland flute you received from the good doctor in Thriston. Doot, 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 doodly, doot, 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 doot. You blow a handful of pleasant enough notes into the woodland flute. You soon become aware of accompanying percussion, which reveals itself to be a series of impeccably timed footfalls racing toward you. A young woman appears before you. That was absolutely dreadful, she whinges, her jaunty gait betraying her enjoyment. She calls herself Ridis and declares herself a woodlander, resident of the Bewildering Wood. By sheer coincidence, the flute on which you played those notes was one designed to call the woodland people to your side. Stunned by your good fortune, you ask Ridis to lead you eastward out of the... What luck! She agrees far more readily than you ever anticipated. But, she continues, extending her hand, you'll have to hand over the woodland flute first. That'll cost you 1,000 gold pieces, you say smugly. Ugh, it's always about money with you travelers, she snorts derisively. Her face contorts in disgust. She reaches into her Hey, what about my money? You stammer. Before you can finish your thought, Mar's tongue whips across your hand, snatching the fruit and sliding it into his gullet. Ridis gasps. How could you let him do that? Just one of those fruits sells for 10,000 gold pieces, she shouts. So you can pay me back for the fruit your little friend stole, or you can hand over that flute, she says, pressing her case. I think you've lost this one, Melanie says, snickering. You look down at Mar, who seems quite pleased with himself. I suppose I have. You sigh in resignation. You begrudgingly hand the woodland flute to Ridis. Ridis plucks the woodland flute out of your hands with glee and begins playing it as she skips away. Well, playing is a generous term. It sounds as though Ridis makes it clear that the fastest way out of the woods is through woodland. It's that-a-way, Ridis says gleefully, pointing past the stela before you. Welcome to Woodland, Ridis says, gesturing out over the village. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm quite busy for the rest of the day, so you'll have to wait till tomorrow to leave the forest, she says, and makes her way home. Welcome to the Forest Oasis, the man greets you warmly. You happen upon a man greedily guzzling well water. Could it truly be that much better than ordinary water? This shortcut is reserved for use by woodland citizens only, the guard barks, clearly unwilling to let you pass. Apparently she's heard rumors of the dragon destroying another town. Our village would burn down so easily, she mutters, perhaps a bit more afraid of the symptom than the cause. You learn that Ridis's family is mired in debt and living hand to mouth. And I know how they got in so much trouble. We are not in the business of meddling in the personal affairs of others, Melanie says curtly, cutting her off. Ridis pores over a book while practicing on the woodland flute. The instant you begin speaking, she nearly leaps out of her skin and hides the book. I thought you were the debt collectors. You can't sneak up on me like that, she stammers, struggling to regain her composure. You take note of a woman who appears quite ill. As it turns, she is in no small amount of pain. Will you give her something to ease her suffering? The item you've proffered has no effect on her, but I appreciate the thought. Ridis's mother hands you mysterious card 3 as a token of her gratitude. She begins speaking of Ridis, who has been preparing the medicine that helps her get through the day. She blames her illness, and therefore herself, for making Ridis's life so difficult. The more she talks, the more her face drops. Been a while since we've had any outsiders. It turns out this inn is simply a place where the poor, lost souls trapped in the bewildering wood may recover. You may the wooden dining table practically groans under the weight of the platters upon it. I've certainly earned this, you say to yourself, as you slide into your seat at the table, positively drooling over the feet. Melanie takes no note of your boorish behavior, uttering a small prayer of thanksgiving before Mar sits, eyes fixed on the food upon the table, statuesque in his... Mar clears the entire table in a matter of seconds, even emptying the water. He lets out a self-satisfied burp that sends a small jet of just-drank water arcing out onto the floor. The sun sinks low, and the day draws to a close. A scream pierces the silence. Fire! You leap out of bed, adrenaline coursing through your veins. The others follow suit, and before long you've burst through the front door and into... Ridis's house is ablaze, a nearby villager screams. My mother is still inside, Ridis shrieks, darting past you to fetch water from the well south of the village. Ridis is gathering water in an attempt to fight the blaze all on her own. Melanie tosses a nearby bucket into the well and hauls it up by the rope. But she hasn't the strength to raise a full... She releases the rope and examines her raw, reddened hands. None can say she did not try. Mar's eyes light up. He scrambles over the edge of the well and sucks the well dry in an instant. He pokes at his swollen belly and gestures toward Ridis's house, as if to say, "Get me back there, quick." Mar douses the house with the water he sucked up from the well. The fire is reduced to mere embers, and all is well. Or so you think. Something darts out from behind the house and attacks. Let's do this. Nice work. Fortune favors the bold. Excellent. The fiery beast dispatched, you return to putting out the last of the blaze. Ridus's mother, now safe, tells you the creature came out of nowhere and what would bring a creature of fire to a place like this, you wonder? Light breaks on a new day, and the commotion of the fire feels but a nightmare. You lead your party to Ridus's house to ask for safe passage out of the bewildering wood. Though spared from complete collapse, Ridus's home has been thoroughly scorched. Ridus's mother tells you she was once deceived by a crooked merchant and Ridus has been working to repay the debt. You lightly press your thumb and forefinger to the corner of each eye, a mixture of sadness and anger swirling within you. Ridus sits alone in one of its rooms, the air thick. She says the monster appeared while she was playing the woodland. As to why any monsters, let alone. Despite the circumstances, I did promise that, didn't I? She says wearily, rising from her seat. Why do you want to venture out beyond the bewildering wood anyway? She inquires, as she gathers this and that in preparation to leave. We are in search of the dragon, you say valiant. Sounds like a real risky way to make a living. A group of Ivory Order people came through here just the You connect the dots with malice. At last, Ridus is ready to depart for the edge of the bewildering wood. This road takes you to the east side of the bewildering wood. Upon seeing that Ridis is with you, he steps aside and lets you through. The eastern portion of the woods certainly does not want for thick, soupy fog. Let's do this. That was lucky. Turn away, ready to lead the party. Wait just a moment, you lot. Ridis appears to be familiar with him. She calls him Mr. O. Here you are, young lady, he says, handing her a slip of paper. Oh dear. Further, Mr. O explains, Ridis did not have a fire. I'll thank you kindly to pay by the end of the month. Fine, hee. Ridis lets out a bemused chuckle. Her demeanor remarks. She pulls the woodland flute from her cloak and begins softly playing. Ridis's ear-splitting performance, shall we say, draws monsters out from behind the trees. Within moments, they are nearly upon you. That's odd. I must have made a mistake, Riddis says, burying her face in her old book once more. She opens the book to a particular page and thrusts it in your face. It's a page of sheet music, with a note scrawled beside it that no matter how many times I played this last night, our debt never went down, she fumed. You inspect the page a bit more carefully. Off in a corner, in letters so small as to be illegible, another message reads, you finally see that so long as Riddis holds the flute, you snatch the woodland flute from her hand. But I'll never escape from this mountain of debt without it, she cries. Melanie quietly opines that while Riddis is many things, Bright is not one of them. About the enemy. Great. Don't hold back. And fight. That was lucky. Ridis chirps, pushing overgrown. As she does, a hidden path out of the bewildering wood comes into view. At last, you are free of the bewildering wood. Praise the power. She giggles bashfully. You've certainly kept your promise. I was hoping I could join you on your quest to defeat the dragon, Ridis suddenly blurts out. She takes out her old book and thrusts another page in your face. This week's creature of fortune is the dragon. Melanie's jaw goes slack. What is the deal? I can probably pay off my debt if we can just defeat the dragon, Ridis. No, I won't dilute my share of the riches any further. No more additions to the party. Have you no heart? Are you just going to leave a young, helpless girl like me to drown in an ocean of debt and deal with that crust? I want to go. No. So Melanie calmly reminds you that the party in its current form stands little. See, you need me. Your well-reasoned argument of no thwarted, you nod your head in resignation and welcome Ridis to the party. Only a fool would drink some stranger's filthy brew. The suspicious doctor grumbles mightily, making a fine show of his discontent as he takes his leave. You take a peek inside the grass. It seems like the harpy hasn't yet noticed. Startled, the monster flaps its wings and flies away. You find some coins scattered about where it stood. As you make your way to the coast, a piece of paper, it depicts a woman standing before us, examining the background of the picture written on the other side of the paper. My darling dearest, I give you my love. The only word you need to see, really. Treasure. Certain you'll come across it in your travels, you stuff the picture into your pack for safekeeping. That was lucky. Nice work. Oof. Looks like your adventure ends here. About the enemy. Nice work. With a whoosh of displaced air, something shoots across the path right in front of you. What is that thing? It isn't any of your business. You don't even bother looking at it before you carry on. Excellent. let's head to Unionville first. You see something approaching. A monster, Melanie shouts, readying for battle. Mr. Flobby, get back here. It's dangerous out there, a young girl chides, taking... It seems you've finally arrived at Unionville, a village where humans and monsters live together in peace. What a weird place, remarks Ridis lightheartedly. We aren't staying a moment longer than necessary, says an unsettled Melanie, her distaste for monsters plain on her face. Any travelers with magical little critters can stay for free. It appears the headman's long-standing pronouncement on the welcoming of all magical creatures also applies to you and your party.